Good morning. So we are back with our story, The Adventures in a Banyan Tree, and we have completed the story. Hope you read the story well. And I told you to find out the difficult words, refer to a glossary, and find out the meanings of that word. And now let's discuss the question answers, the textual questions. So the first question was, the house and grounds were of grandfather's domain, but the magnificent old banyan tree was mine. Why did the boy say so? Why the boy say so? The boy is telling that that magnificent old banyan tree is mine. Why did he say so? Yes, because the grandfather could not climb the banyan tree. It's because the grandfather could not climb the banyan tree. Okay, that's the answer. Then the second question is, how did the squirrel become a friend of the boy? How did the squirrel become a friend of the boy? You know very well that when the squirrel found that the boy did not arm himself with a catapult or air gun, he became friendlier. That is, the boy doesn't have any air gun or catapult. So the squirrel realized, when he realized that, when the squirrel found that the boy did not arm himself with catapult or air gun, then he became friendlier. That is the answer of second question. Now the third question is, what did the friends of the squirrel think about his friendship with a human? What might have made them think so? What might have made them think so? The squirrel's friends and relatives probably thought him headstrong and foolish for trusting a human. They thought it dangerous as human might harm them. അല്ലെ ഹ്യൂമൻ എന്താണ് ഹാം ചിൽഡ്രൻ യൂസ് ടു ഹാം അനിമൽസ് അല്ലെ സ്മോൾ അനിമൽസിനൊക്കെ ഹാം ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട് ഹ്യൂമൻ ഈ കവണ ഉപയോഗിച്ചും മറ്റുള്ള എയർഗണൊക്കെ ഉപയോഗിച്ച് ഹാം ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട് സോ ദ ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് ഓഫ് ദ സ്ക്വിറൽ friends and relatives of squirrel thought this squirrel as headstrong and foolish for trusting a human. Okay, the next question. How was the banyan tree the noisiest place during the fig season? How was the banyan tree the noisiest place in the fig season? It's because during the fig season, the banyan tree was full of small red figs, and birds of all kinds would flock into the branches and squabbling with each other. During the fig season, the banyan tree was full of small red figs. Birds of all kinds would flock each other into the branches and squabbling with each other. Okay, do you know the birds, which are the birds mentioned here? Then bulbul, red bottom bulbul, then cheerful and greedy, gossiping rosy pastors, and parrots and crows. These birds came flocking each other and squabbling with each other, and that made the banyan tree the noisiest place in that road. Okay, hope it is clear. The next question. How did the boy make the spring season exciting for himself? How did the boy make the spring season exciting? The boy spent the afternoon in a small platform halfway up the tree. Then he read the storybooks and watched the activities of others from the tree. Which are the books he used to read? Yes, Mowgli stories, then Huckleberry Finn, then novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs, Treasure Island, the novels of Louisa May Alcott, and these are the books he used for reading. Okay, so the question was, how did the boy make the spring season exciting for himself? So what he usually do? The boy spent the afternoon in a small platform halfway up the tree, and he read the storybooks and watched the activities. Other time, when it was not too hot, what he used to do? When he doesn't feel like reading, what he used to do? Yes, he usually watched the activities of others from the tree. While he was sitting in the tree, he watched the activities going down. Then, what was the incident? Next question. What was the incident that triggered a long-lasting excitement for the boy in the summer? Then, what was that incident? Yeah, we already discussed that an interesting or exciting incident had taken place. What was that? Yes, the deadly fight between the mongoose and the snake. The deadly fight between the mongoose and the cobra triggered a long-lasting excitement for the boy in summer. Okay, that was the exciting incident. Okay, now seventh question. What is the seventh question? How did the cobra regard his opponent? Were they true warriors? And what is your opinion about that? What did the cobra regard his opponent? Cobra regard his opponent as superb fighter, clever and aggressive, isn't it? Cobra regarded his opponent as, who is his opponent here? Yes, mongoose. The cobra regarded his opponent as superb fighter, then aggressive and clever. Then what about cobra? Cobra was also very skillful, isn't it? The cobra was also skillful and experienced fighter. And both of them are true warriors. The second question was, were they true warriors? In the seventh question, how did the cobra regard his opponent? So the cobra regarded his opponent as superb fighter, clever and aggressive. And the sub question was that, were they true warriors? Were they true warriors? The answer for that, yes, both of them were true warriors. You know, whenever you read the chapter, you come to know that the battle was very fearsome. The battle was very fearsome, and the battle took a very long time for its finish, isn't it? So they were true warriors. Okay, then the eighth question. Next question is, how did the mongoose manage to escape from the snake's bite? How did the mongoose manage to escape from the snake's bite? Yes, the mongoose bushed his tail. The mongoose, what he did with his tail? He bushed his tail. Mongoose bushed his tail, and the long hair on his spine, the long hair, the thickness of that hair saved him from the snake's bite. Okay, the mongoose bushed his tail, and the long hair on his spine stood up. The long hair on his spine stood up, and the thickness of his hair. What saved the mongoose from snake's bite? That's the question. എന്താണ് മംഗൂസിന്റെ സ്നേക്കിന്റെ ബൈറ്റിൽ നിന്ന് രക്ഷപ്പെടുത്തിയത്? എന്താണ്? The long hair. When mongoose bushed his tail, the long hair on the spine stood up, and the thickness of his hair saved him from snake's bite. Okay, hope it is clear. Then the next question is that, ninth question is that, the cobra was a good fighter. Pick out one of his fighting techniques. So the cobra was a good fighter. Obviously, you know that the cobra was a good fighter. And the question is that, pick out one of his fighting techniques. So we can say that the cobra stood on the defensive. He swayed from side to side, trying to mesmerize the mongoose into marking a false move. ഒരു തെറ്റായ രീതിയിൽ മൂവ്മെന്റ് നടത്തി അല്ലെ കോബ്ര എന്ത് ചെയ്തു? തെറ്റായ രീതിയിൽ മൂവ്മെന്റ് നടത്തിയപ്പോൾ ഒരു ഫോൾസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു മൂവ് മംഗൂസിനെ ഒരു കൺഫ്യൂഷൻ ഉണ്ടാക്കുകയാണ്. ഇങ്ങനെ വല്ലാണ്ട് സ്നേക്ക് എടുത്ത് മൂവ് ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ എവിടേക്കാണ് മൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്നുള്ളൊരു തെറ്റായ രീതി ഉണ്ടാക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ആര്? കോബ്ര. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു ടെക്നിക്കല്ലേ, കോബ്ര യൂസ് ചെയ്ത ഒരു ടെക്നിക്കാണിത്. ക്വസ്റ്റൻ എന്തായിരുന്നു? ദ കോബ്ര വാസ് എ ഗുഡ് ഫൈറ്റർ. പിക്ക് ഔട്ട് വൺ ഓഫ് ഹിസ് ഫൈറ്റിംഗ് ടെക്നിക്. സോ വി ക്യാൻ റൈറ്റ് ആസ്, ദ കോബ്ര stood on the defensive, swaying slowly from side to side, trying to mesmerize the mongoose into marking a false move. trying to mesmerize the mongoose into marking a false move. Okay, that is one of the technique of cobra. Then, next question. The mongoose proved that he was clever. Can you cite any instance of his cleverness? So just now we told about the technique of cobra. Cobra technique ആണ് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞത്. എന്തായിരുന്നു cobra technique? He swayed from side to side. Like he swayed slowly from side to side, trying to mesmerize the mongoose. Mongoose-നെ mesmerize ചെയ്യിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഇങ്ങനെ sway ചെയ്തു. Slowly ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു മൂവ്മെന്റ് നടത്തി cobra. നെക്സ്റ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ എന്തായിരുന്നു മംഗൂസിന്റെ ടെക്നിക്? ബോത്ത് ആർ വാരിയേഴ്സ്, ഇസ്ന്റ് ഇറ്റ്? രണ്ടുപേരും ഫൈറ്റിംഗ് വാരിയേഴ്സ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദ ടെക്നിക് ഓഫ് മംഗൂസ് എന്നാണ് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ. സോ വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദ ടെക്നിക്? So the cobra tried to mesmerize to mark a false move. നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് മുന്നേ നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു കോബ്ര എന്ത് ചെയ്തു, ഒരു മൂവ്മെന്റ് ഒക്കെ നടത്തിയിട്ട് മംഗൂസിനെ തെറ്റിദ്ധരിപ്പിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിച്ചു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ബട്ട് വാട്ട് ഡിഡ് ദ മംഗൂസ് ഡിഡ്? The clever mongoose knew his opponent's trick. Opponent's trick, cobra trick, mongoose na ariyarnu. So what he did? He fixed his gaze. Gaze means oru otta notam ശ്രദ്ധിച്ച് നോക്കി. He fixed his gaze to look at very serious ആയിട്ട് ഒരൊറ്റ നോട്ടം തന്നെ. He fixed his gaze at a point below the cobra's hood. കോബ്രയുടെ ഹൂഡിന്റെ താഴെയായിട്ട്, പത്തിന്റെ താഴെയായിട്ട് he fixed his look. He fixed his gaze. He fixed his gaze at a point below the cobra's hood. കോബ്രാന്റെ പത്തിന്റെ താഴെയായിട്ട് he fixed his gaze strongly at a point below the cobra's hood and opened the attack. And then he started to attack. So whenever cobra tried to make false moves, what mongoose did? Mongoose fixed his gaze below the cobra's hood. അല്ലെ, മംഗൂസിന്റെ നോട്ടം എങ്ങടായിരുന്നു? കോബ്രയുടെ ഹൂഡിന്റെ ബിലോ ആയിട്ട് തന്നെ. സോ ഇൻ ദാറ്റ് വേ mongoose understood the trick of cobra. Okay, then so the answer for that is the cobra tried to mesmerize to mark a false move, but the clever mongoose knew his opponent's trick and he fixed his gaze at a point below the cobra's hood and opened the attack. That is the answer. Then next question. What were the reactions of the spectators when the cobra struck? What were the reaction of the spectators? കാണികളുടെ റിയാക്ഷൻ എന്തായിരിക്കും? Who are the spectators? ആരൊക്കെയായിരുന്നു spectators? ആരായിരുന്നു? Yes, മൈന ആൻഡ് ദ ക്രോ. മൈനയും ക്രോ ആയിരുന്നു spectators. One more spectator is there. ഒരു കാണിയും കൂടി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ആരായിരുന്നു? Yes, the boy. He was sitting on the banyan tree, but actually cobra and mongoose didn't notice the boy, but who were the real spectators in the ഇതെല്ലാം കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന താഴെ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് ആരാണ്? Yes, മൈന ആൻഡ് ക്രോ. Okay, what were the reactions of the spectators when the cobra struck? And the moment the cobra struck, the crow and the myna hurled themselves at him, but only to collide heavily in mid-air. അപ്പൊ എന്താ, രണ്ടുപേരും ഹേൾ ചെയ്തു. പക്ഷെ എന്താ സംഭവിച്ചത്? അവർ രണ്ടുപേരും കൊളൈഡ് ചെയ്യുക ചെയ്തത്. രണ്ടുപേരും കൂടി കൂട്ടിയിടിക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്തത്. Okay, so the moment the cobra struck, the crow and the myna hurled themselves at him only to collide heavily each other. Okay, then next question is, how did the crow push itself into trouble? How did the crow push itself into trouble? നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു ക്രോവും മൈന ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു സ്പെക്ടേറ്റേഴ്സിൽ. പക്ഷെ മൈന ക്ലെവർ ആയിരുന്നു, ബട്ട് ക്രോ ഡിഡ് സംതിങ്. എന്തായിരുന്നു ക്രോ ചെയ്തിരുന്നത്? ഹൗ ഡിഡ് ദ ക്രോ പുഷ് ഇറ്റ്സെൽഫ് ഇൻ ടു ട്രബിൾ? എങ്ങനെയാണ്? ക്രോ ഇടപെട്ടു അല്ലെ? ക്രോ ഇന്റർഫിയർ ദ ഫൈറ്റ് അല്ലെ? ക്രോ എന്താ ചെയ്തേ? ദ ക്രോ ടുക്ക് പാർട്ട് ഇൻ ദ ഫൈറ്റ്. The crow took part in the fight and missed his mark. The crow took part in the fight and missed his mark. And as he tried to pull up in the air and turn back, the snake struck with great force and his snout thudded against the crow's body. സ്നേക്കിന്റെ ടെയിൽ അടിച്ചിട്ട് എന്തായി? ഈ ക്രോ തെറിച്ചു വീഴാണ് ചെയ്തത്. So the crow took part in the fight and missed his mark. As he tried to pull up in the air and turn back, the snake struck with great force and his snout thudded against the crow's body. അങ്ങനെ ക്രോ തെറിച്ചു വീഴാണ്. ക്രോ കയറി ഇടപെടുകയും ചെയ്തു, തെറിച്ചു വീഴുകയും ചെയ്തു. ഓക്കെ, that is the yes, 12th question. That was the 12th question. Okay, now it's the 13th question. Why is the myna said to be wise? Why is the myna said to be wise? Just now we told that. അല്ലെ, ക്രോയും സ്പെക്ടേറ്റേഴ്സ് രണ്ടുപേരുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. കാണാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ളത് ആരൊക്കെയായിരുന്നു? മൈന ആൻഡ് ദ ക്രോ. ആൻഡ് മൈന is very wise. Because why the myna is said to be wise? Because it refrained from interfering into the fight. It refrained. എന്താണ്? ഫൈറ്റിലൊന്നും ഇടപെടാൻ നിന്നില്ല. It refrained from interfering into the fight. That's why the myna is said to be wise. Okay, then the next question is, who won the battle and what made the myna peer into the bushes? So, who won the battle? You all know that very well. അല്ലേ, ആരാ battle won ചെയ്തേ? Yes, it is the mongoose who won the battle. And what made the myna peer into the bushes? Yes, of course, it is to congratulate the mongoose. Then, what prevented grandfather from taming the mongoose? What prevented grandfather? Because grandfather did not tame mongoose. Because he knew very well that wild mongoose was more useful than domesticated one. Wild mongoose ആണ് കൂടുതൽ യൂസ്ഫുൾ. അതായത് ഈ വളർത്തുന്ന മൃഗങ്ങളെ ഡൊമസ്റ്റിക്കേറ്റഡ് വണ്ണയിലും കൂടുതൽ നല്ലത്, വളർത്തുന്നതിനേക്കാളും കൂടുതൽ നല്ലത് എന്താ? വൈൽഡ് മംഗൂസ് ആണ്. കാരണം എന്താണ്? ഒറ്റ സ്നേക്സും പിന്നെ ഉണ്ടാവില്ല, ഗാർഡനിൽ ഒന്നും ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. വൈൽഡ് മംഗൂസ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ സ്നേക്സ് ഒന്നും ഗാർഡനിൽ ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. ഇറ്റ് പ്രിവെന്റ്സ് ദ സ്നേക്സ്. സോ ദ ഗ്രാൻഡ് ഫാദർ ഡിഡ് നോട്ട് tame mongoose. What's the reason? Because he knew very well that the wild mongoose was more useful than a domesticated one. Okay. Then the next question, that is 16th question. Why would grandmother forgive the mongoose for stealing the eggs? Just now we told that grandmother forgave the mongoose for stealing the eggs because the mongoose kept the snakes away from the house. What did the mongoose do? എന്താണ് കീരി എന്താ ചെയ്യുക? സ്നേക്സിനെ പരിസരത്ത് നിന്ന് ഓടിപ്പിക്കും അല്ലേ? Yes, it kept the snakes away. Grandmother didn't punish or grandmother forgave the mongoose for stealing the eggs because it kept the snakes away from the house. Mongoose kept the snakes away from the house. Okay, then next question. Who was the new friend of the squirrel and how did they enjoy their friendship? And who was the new friend of the squirrel? Yes, White Rat. White Rat was the new friend of the squirrel and they would go off together on little excursions among the branches. Among the branches, they go on little they go off together on little excursions among the branches. Okay, then next question. How did the boy come to know that the squirrel was building a nest? How the boy come to know that the squirrel is building a nest? Yes, when he found straw and pieces of grasses falling from his pocket, falling from his clothes. The boy came to know that some pieces of straw and grasses are falling from his pocket, falling from his clothes. So he realized that the squirrel is building a nest in its nest. Okay. Then the last question is, what was the wonder that nature had kept for them in the nest? What was the wonder that the nature had kept for them in the nest? What was the wonder? Yes, at last we saw in the nest there is 3 white baby squirrels. Through 3 white baby squirrel, and that was the wonder. Okay, so this is the, so now we discuss 19 question answers, textual question answers. These question answers won't ask in the board exams, but it is very while discussing these question answers, it will be very helpful for you to understand the story very well. Okay. So for exam point of view, the character sketch is very important. Okay, you should know the character sketch of the story. Who all characters are there and what are their main features. Okay, so in this story, how many characters are there? Yes, a boy is there, and one the first peculiarity that comes to our mind when we talk about boy is what is the feature? Yes, he is a lover of nature. Okay, then who is the other character? Yeah, grandfather. Grandfather is 65 years old, isn't it? 65 years old, grandfather. Then grandmother. Who is grandmother? Grandmother is old, wise woman in the story. She is represented as an old, wise woman. Then, then who is the character? Yeah, who is the friend of the boy? Yes, Grey Squirrel. Grey Squirrel. It is friendly and lovable, isn't it? It is friendly and lovable. Then who is the character? Yes, there came the fighters. Cobra. Cobra is an aggressive fighter. Cobra is an aggressive fighter. Then mongoose. When we talk about cobra, we should also tell about mongoose. Mongoose is a clever fighter. So cobra, an aggressive fighter, and mongoose is a clever fighter. Then who are the other characters? Yes, of course, crow and myna. And myna is a clever bird, isn't it? Because she didn't interfere in the activities. She didn't interfere in the fight. Whereas crow interfered in the fight and fell down, isn't it? It fell down after the crow interferes in the fight. Okay, so these are the main characters in the story. Who are they? Yes, boy, grandfather, grandmother, then squirrel, grey squirrel. Then who is the other character? Yes, mongoose, cobra, crow, myna. Then little after we find one other character, isn't it? White rat, and thereafter at last we have 3 baby squirrels. Okay, these are the main characters. Then okay, then what are the main events happening in the story? Main events. We can just explain it in one line. What are the main events? What are the main events happening? Yes, first the boy's friendship with the squirrel. The boy's friendship with the squirrel. Then the second event, the most exciting event. What was that? Yes, the fight between the cobra and the mongoose. The fight between the cobra and the mongoose. That was the second event. Next event. Then one more event is there at last. Yes, the friendship of white rat and the grey squirrel, and at last the birth of, yes, 3 white baby squirrel. Okay, that was also an incident or event happened in the story. Then what is the main setting? What is the setting of the story? Yes, a banyan tree, isn't it? A banyan tree. The whole story takes place in that banyan tree, isn't it? The banyan tree in Dara, a valley of the foothills of the Himalayas, isn't it? A banyan tree in the Dara, a valley of the foothills of the Himalayas. Okay, banyan tree is situated in Dara, isn't it? The valley of the foothill of Himalayas, foot of the Himalayas. Okay, that is the setting. So now we came to know the main characters, the setting of the story, and the main events happened in the story, isn't it? So this is very important. Whenever you read a story, you should know the setting, the characters, and the main events that happened in the story. That you should know very well. Okay. Okay, just now we explained the characters in one sentence, isn't it? One line or one sentence, we just explained that. But now when it is asked to explain the character sketch of one creature in this, one animal in this story, suppose it is snake, then how will you say? What are the character sketch of the snake? Yeah, the snake, the black cobra. The black cobra is huge in size, and we can say like it is a skillful and experienced fighter. Then he could move swiftly and strike with the speed of the light. Okay, so the black cobra, it is huge in size. It is an aggressive fighter. It is a skillful and experienced fighter. or otherwise we can say that it is an aggressive fighter. Then he could move swiftly and strike with the spread of the strike with the speed of the light. Can strike with the speed of the light. Okay, that is the character sketch of cobra, character sketch of the snake. Then what about mongoose? Mongoose is very clever, isn't it? So the first line we can say that the gray mongoose, it is 3 feet long and it is very clever and aggressive. The mongoose, 3 feet long, is very clever and aggressive. Then it is a super fighter also. It is a super fighter also, and it knows the fighting techniques of the snake as well. It knows the fighting techniques of the snake as well. Okay, so now we understood the character sketch of the more points. You can add up more points. Okay, this is just a rough character sketch of snake and the mongoose. Okay, in the last class, I already told, I gave you a homework, that is to write a letter to your friend telling him about his new friend, acquaintance with the squirrel, isn't it? I told you to write a letter. Hope you have done it very well. But now I will just give you a demo of that letter writing. A model of that letter writing. So at first, whenever you try to write a letter, especially a friendly letter, you must at first write the address. You should write the address. From address, then for example, Ivy Cottage, Lander Cant, Dehradun, address. From address, then you should write the date. Okay, 7th June 2020 date. Then next one is salutation, that is dear Shravan or dear Preeti. Okay, dear. So from address, date, then salutation. Then in the first sentence, we can write it as, yeah, I'm very happy to write a letter to you. Then how is your vacation going on? Hope you're enjoying it well. So in the first stanza should be somewhat friendly. It's a friendly letter. So first 2-3 lines should be like that. Asking about the whereabouts. I'm very happy to write a letter to you. How is your vacation going on? Are you fine? Hope you're enjoying well. Like that. First paragraph should be like that. Then next paragraph should be to the matter. Okay, so here what is the matter? Yes, you are writing a letter to your friend, depicting about the your new friend, isn't it? You got a new friend, and now that you are going to talk about that friend. Okay, so in the second stanza, second paragraphil നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? നമുക്കൊരു പുതിയ, നമ്മുടെ ലെറ്റർ റൈറ്റിങ്ങിന്റെ ഉദ്ദേശം എന്താണ്? ഫ്രണ്ടിനെ നമ്മൾ അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്, നമുക്കൊരു പുതിയ ഫ്രണ്ടിനെ കിട്ടി, ആ ഫ്രണ്ടിന്റെ കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടുള്ള ഒരു ലെറ്റർ ആണ്. സോ സെക്കൻഡ് പാരഗ്രാഫിൽ നമ്മൾ ആ മാറ്ററിലോട്ട് വരികയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ സോ വാട്ട് വി വിൽ ലൈക്ക്, സോ ഹിയർ യു ആർ റൈറ്റിംഗ് ആസ് എ ബോയ്, isn't it? So in the story, the boy in the story. So in the first line we can write it like, I am happy with my grandparents here. Then our house is at the foothills of the Himalayas, in the beautiful valley town Dehra. Then here I have a beautiful banyan tree which had made a maze of arches with its branches. And here I got a new friend. Do you know who it is? Yes, it is a little grey squirrel. Yeah. At first, the squirrel resented my presence. When he confirmed that I was not armed with arm gun or catapult, he came near me. Then I gave him pieces of cake and biscuits, and gradually I won his trust and he became my friend. I'm very happy with his company and I wish you could also enjoy it. You can also make such friends and you should feed such pet animals. Okay, so that their love will be also with you. Then in the next paragraph, so our matter is over. We described about the detail of his new friend, of our new friends. Okay, then in the last paragraph, in the last concluding paragraph, concluding stanza, we must write it as, a lot of stories are there to tell you and convey my regards to your parents and other family members. Yours lovingly. Last is yours lovingly and your name. So a letter should have minimum 3 paragraphs. Okay, the first paragraph is whereabouts, asking about the whereabouts or in a friendly manner. How are you? Hope you are fine. Then how is your vacation going on? Hope you are enjoying well. Like that. Then in the second paragraph, you should come to the matter. The matter, that is the matter in the letter. Okay, so here it is about the new friend സ്ക്വിറൽ. സ്ക്വിറലിനെ പറ്റിയിട്ടാണ് പറയുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ സെക്കൻഡ് പാരഗ്രാഫിൽ നമ്മൾ ആ സ്ക്വിറലിനെ കണ്ടുമുട്ടിയതും സ്ക്വിറൽ എങ്ങനെ ഫ്രണ്ടായി എന്നുള്ളതും പിന്നെ നീ ഫ്രണ്ടിനും ഇതുപോലെ നമ്മൾ അയക്കുന്ന കുട്ടിയോട് പറയാണ് ഇനിയും ഇതുപോലെ ഒരു ഫ്രണ്ടിനെ പെറ്റ് അനിമൽസിനെ വളർത്തു, നല്ലൊരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ആണ് എന്ന കാര്യം പറയുന്നു. ഫൈനൽ സ്റ്റാൻസയിൽ കൺക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ദിസ് ഇസ് വാട്ട് എ ലെറ്റർ ഷുഡ് ബി. ഒരു ലെറ്റർ, ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ലെറ്ററിൻ്റെ ഒരു മോഡലാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ജസ്റ്റ് പറഞ്ഞത്. ഓക്കെ, ഇനി ഡിസ്കോഴ്സ് റൈറ്റിംഗ് ഇസ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് ഫോർ യുവർ ബോർഡ് എക്സാം. ഓക്കെ, ഈ ചാപ്റ്ററിൽ ബേസ് ചെയ്ത് വരുന്നത് ഒരു ലെറ്റർ റൈറ്റിംഗ് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ജസ്റ്റ് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തു. ദെൻ ഡയറി റൈറ്റിംഗ് വിൽ ബി എങ്ങനെയാണ് ആ ബാനിങ് എൻട്രിയിലത്തെ എന്താ അഡ്വഞ്ചേഴ്സിനെ കുറിച്ച് എങ്ങനെ അന്നത്തെ ദിവസം നമ്മളോട് ഡയറി എഴുതാൻ പറയും. രാത്രി അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ എന്തൊക്കെ എഴുതും, ഡയറിയിൽ നമ്മൾ എന്തൊക്കെ ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യും, അത് എന്തായാലും ചോദിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ് ഡയറി റൈറ്റിംഗ്. സോ ലെറ്റർ റൈറ്റിംഗ് ഇസ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്, ഡയറി റൈറ്റിംഗ് ഇസ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. ആൻഡ് അനദർ വൺ ഇസ് the nature. This chapter is dealing with nature, isn't it? So it should be asked like that. Prepare a poster on the topic conservation of nature. Prepare a poster on the topic conservation of nature. That is also a discourse activity. And അങ്ങനെ ചോദിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ what we will do, പോസ്റ്റർ മേക്കിംഗ് അല്ലെ. പോസ്റ്റർ മേക്കിങ്ങിന്റെ എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് ക്യാച്ചി, നല്ലൊരു ടൈറ്റിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. പോസ്റ്റർ മേക്കിങ്ങിന് നല്ലൊരു ക്യാച്ചി ടൈറ്റിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. പിന്നെ എന്താണ്, പിക്ചേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. പിക്ചേഴ്സിൽ ഫുള്ള് നമ്മുടെ പിന്നെ കുറച്ച് എന്താണ് നല്ല നല്ല ക്യാപ്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വാട്ട് ഈസ് നീഡഡ് ഇൻ എ പോസ്റ്റർ. അപ്പോൾ പോസ്റ്റർ മേക്കിംഗ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആണ്. ഈ ചാപ്റ്ററിനെ ഡീൽ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിട്ടുള്ള ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് ആണ് പറയുന്നത്. പോസ്റ്റർ മേക്കിംഗ് ഉണ്ടാവും, ലെറ്റർ റൈറ്റിംഗ് ഉണ്ടാവും, ഡയറി റൈറ്റിംഗ് ഉണ്ടാവും. പിന്നെ നെറേഷൻ, ഈ ഹോൾ ഈവൻസിനെ നെറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാണ്. നെറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ എന്തായാലും ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ സെറ്റിങ്സും അതിൻ്റെ ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സും അതിൻ്റെ തീമും ജസ്റ്റ് എന്താണ് പറഞ്ഞു വരുന്നത് അതൊക്കെ ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യണം നെറേഷനിൽ. അപ്പോൾ ഇതൊക്കെയാണ് മെയിൻ ടോപ്പിക്സ് ഇതിൽ വരുന്നത്. പിന്നെ ഫൈറ്റ് സീനിനെ നെറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആ ഫൈറ്റ് സീൻ മൊത്തം that fight scene should be depicted very clearly and very neatly, because the question is that narrate the fighting scene of mongoose and cobra in your own words. So you should be very well depict the fighting scene. Okay, you should write in your own words. Okay, there is a question like that. Narrate the fight scene in your own words. You have the boy was thrilled at seeing the fight between the cobra and the mongoose, and you may also have the same feeling. So narrate the fight scene in your own words. So the fight scene should be written in your own words. It is very important to read that. Okay, then another one is, yes, sometimes a picture will be given like that. In your textbook there is activity 6, and here a pictures will be given, and you should write you are told to write the story. You are told to narrate the story, or you are told to write the story while seeing the picture. You should at first recognize the story and write a story of your you should identify the picture and write a story of your own. Okay, and also there are also another activity is a picture in page number 19. Analyze the following pictures and identify the environmental issues portrayed in the picture. Environmental issues portrayed in the picture. Since this chapter is dealt with nature, it is very important. Sometimes the question will be any questions will be asked related to nature. So sometimes it will be poster making, as I just told now, conservation of nature. Prepare a poster on conservation of nature. Otherwise it will be letter, report or article or something like this, narration, or identify the pictures and analyze the environmental issue portrayed here, like that. So these are the discourse activities in the chapter. And other seminar is also asked. Conduct a seminar on the topic Save the Earth. So prepare something like that. Prepare a seminar on the topic Save the Earth. Then prepare a poster on the topic Conservation of Nature. Then prepare a seminar or topic Prepare a seminar or report on the topic natural disasters, like that. Anything related to nature will be asked for, related to this chapter. Ask for this chapter. So you must be very well aware of that. Okay.